Good day. Good day. How's everyone today? Oh, my camera's low. That camera's too high. I'm all over the place. How's everyone today? Good, good, good. Can you all hear me? Not quite happening. What's happening with my hair? It's like a little schoolboy. Is everyone all right? Can we make sure that everyone can hear us, Louise, before we go any further?
Okay. Hi, guys. Can you hear us?
Everyone all right? Can you see Louise more importantly? There she is.
Can you see and hear both of us?
You can. The sweaters, we thought it would be quite fitting to have our Christmas jumpers today. So as you can see, okay, look at this lovely little glittery bit by here. Very nice too. And Louise is modelling the same as well. She has the same jumper on as well. Matching jumpers, how cute is that? Is that better? It's a bit better, a bit of a softer cut on that one there. How's everyone? Yeah, everyone's looking good. So, how is everyone today? Good. Loads and loads of questions coming in today, which is absolutely fabulous, which is exactly what we're after. How is everybody? It's been a busy day,
Isn't it?
It's been absolutely hectic here. Let's go on to Super Source so I can talk to Louise. There we go. It's been a very busy week with the maybe a possibility of another lockdown happening.
Well, there is talk of it, isn't there? Because here in the UK...
Sound has gone from whom?
Oh, sound has gone.
From, no sound. Everyone should be on sound. Louise has got sound.
Can you guys hear us both?
Yeah, everyone can hear, can they? Sound is fine. Good.
Okay,
good.
Thank you guys. Yeah, so it's been a bit of a crazy few days because here in the UK, the Omicron cases are reported in the news that they've been rising quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of talk. We're all getting a booster apparently.
Yeah. My booster's tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, the NHS website or the NHS booking system crashed, isn't it? So.
Yeah. And I just heard that all the home testing kits are all gone. There's no more of those.
Yeah, but there'll be more. Let's not scaremonger. It's yeah.
They're temporarily out of stock, and
out of stock at the moment. So yeah, don't stoke that fire.
Lee's, but we got low. No, I'm joking. So Lee's got his booster tonight.
Has he?
Yeah, I got mine tomorrow night as well. You're just waiting on yours, and yeah. So what we are jumping. I'm just looking there. No, if I said jump. What we are doing, we're thinking positive. Yeah, we know what may be happening over the next few days and the next week or so. We're thinking about what happened last year where they locked us down on the Saturday before Christmas. We're not necessarily expecting that this year, but on the positive note, we are really focusing on a way to reach the customers and in a way that the customers can buy from us, aren't we?
Yeah.
The nice and easy way of doing it.
It's kind of hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. And I know that sounds really pessimistic, but I think you have to, don't you, after last year? Because last year we sat on the sofa and there was an announcement and we just sat there going, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Yes.
So this year, we're just coming up with a bit of a plan which involves loading up the website with as much as we possibly can, advertising locally for click and collect. It's just, and this is what we've done throughout the whole pandemic, is just not focus on the negative, is just literally think, what can I do?
Yes.
And you could even make a list of the things that you can do, and that can be, and they don't all necessarily have to be directly income generating things. They can be blogging or concentrating on your social media website if you've got it. And when you sit down and think about the things that you can do, you're probably really surprised, and then we'll feel really, really busy.
So fingers crossed, all the things are being put into place. And of course, you're planning adverts as well to go on Facebook.
Well, that's the thing. I'd normally be scheduling them all now.
Yes.
But I don't want to do that because I don't know hopefully nothing will happen. I don't want to scaremonger, but then, just day by day, I guess now, isn't it? And
we just got to go, as you say, day by day, look at the figures, look at what's happening, and the customers who are coming to the shop, get them served as quick, as fast as possible. We still got a one in, one out, but we're letting more people in now, but keeping them at opposite ends of the shop. So we're just trying to make sure that everybody gets seen to in a really nice, quick, timely manner, making it easy for people to spend. They can call us, they got the website, they can come and click and collect, they can collect the stuff, we can send it out to them for free as well. So it is just doing what we possibly can. This is what we've been doing throughout the whole pandemic, is making it easy for people to buy. Don't put any obstacles in their the only obstacle we've got is a shut door, but we let people in. That's just to keep our customers safe, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. And I think people, certainly in our village, really appreciate that, because we are a small community. And as such, I suppose if you live in a city, you're more used to being around people, but I don't know, I don't like crowds. I find it really, and I think that just comes from living in
a little rural-ish area.
Yeah, and then when you have to go into the city, it's
hard, isn't it?
Yeah, so, yes.
So even though the future is uncertain of what happens over the next couple of weeks, we are doing all we can and putting things practices into place to make sure that we are prepared should someone turn around and go, that's it. That's what we're going to do. That's about it, really, isn't it?
That's enough. Yeah, what have we done? What else has happened in the last week? Not much.
Not much at all. We've just been totally, really focused on work. And that's what we need to do at the moment, isn't it? The commissions are doing well. I've been setting all day today. Lee's been making up commissions. People have been coming in, trying on rings before we set stones in. Sales have been really good as well today. So it's just a matter of keeping the work going, keeping it flowing, just in case. And there's not much point leaving it until the last minute. We have to make sure that everything's done now this week, just in case.
Yeah.
So, how is everybody else? Loads of little questions coming at the moment here. Don't forget that the monthly workshop that we did, when was it? End of last month. The Pearson one is now up on the website, as on atthebench.com. If you're a member, you can watch it completely free of charge. It is there. It comes up on the bottom with the latest films, and also on the top left-hand corner of the dashboard is a link that takes you to the monthly workshops. We have rearranged that page. If you haven't looked at it for a week or so, we have rearranged the page to make it a little bit easier to load. We don't have all individual films. We just got the one film player with the links then that will play in that film player to make things a lot easier. We've got all the download links to the millimeter drill, Pearson saw gauges, the practice pieces. We've got links to our social media and also links to the tools that we have used within the workshop as well, that goes to our store that you can buy. And thank you very much for everybody who has purchased from our store so far. It has been absolutely hectic. We have just introduced some brand new practice rings end of last week that are virtually sold out already. We've had an absolutely tremendous response to that. They're single, simple silver rings in round, oval, marquee, pear and square. We supply you with the stones to practice with, and should anything happen and you mess up, you've got it silver, you can melt it back down and reuse the silver, or if you do such a fantastic job, they're good enough to sell, and you can sell the rings at a fantastic profit. I'm sure you can. And I'm just going to show you these now before we go any further. We've also done some full eternities as well. Very, very quick. These aren't up on the website just yet, but they are going to be. We have got some like full eternities with 10 settings. These are round. Again, we've got pear-shaped, square, marquee and oval, and we supply you with all the cubic zirconias to set as well. You have to remove the sprues if you want to sell them and tidy them up. These are as they come from the casters. They are going to be going up on the website. We've done all the images. We've got the pricing already for these. So these will be up on the website. As you can see, we've got absolutely loads of them. These are just that's the round. We've got the pear shapes. We've got marquee. We've got oval, and we have got squares as well. So they come with all the stones ready for you to practice your setting over the holiday period. As I said, those are going to go on the website tomorrow. We've already got the single stones on the website. You can buy them. They are £20 each, but if you buy more than one, whatever different shape, you get a 10% discount. We only have limited stocks available because they have flown out over the weekend since our last posting on Instagram. Don't forget Sally Spencer's book. We've got a £25, the cheapest in the country. If you want to buy Sally Spencer's book, the Quick Reference Guide to Gemstones, I can never remember the title. We've still got a few more copies left of that. It's normally £27.99, it is now £25 with free postage within the UK. We've still got that. And if you want to pop along to the store, it is atthebench.store. Pop along, see what's there. Everything on the website is what we got in stock. It's all up to date, and we can deliver with with a smile and some free stickers before Christmas. So if you wanted some orders, and we only stock what we use on our bench here, so we don't stock anything that we haven't used, that we don't use, and so forth. So what we do, we stock. Horatia, yes, they can be used as eternity rings. They are quite nice and chunky. If you wanted to cut the individual settings off and use those within rings, you can do. It's entirely up to you. But as you can see, they are quite reasonable. They're a reasonable weight, I must admit. I can't remember what price we're going to be putting those out at, but the single stones are selling out fast on the website. Louise.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my bit of market stall. Come and get your single stone practice rings. Come and get your head and shank tweezers and your ring clamps and everything else. Okay.
Okay.
That's enough of that. It is the 13th of December. 2 weeks to go-ish, less than 2 weeks to go. It'll all be over 2 weeks today.
Don't say that.
All be able to play with our presents. So it's the 13th of December. At 4 p.m, it is time for our question and answer. And Louise, I can remember having a haircut Wednesday. You can blooming well need it as well.
Overdue, yeah.
Absolutely. Louise, what is our first question?
Okay, first question is from Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Is it possible to produce a white gold alloy in the home shop? If so, how can this be done?
It can be done. You're gonna have to, okay, of what metal? Of gold. If you're using gold, you're gonna have to look up on the internet the proportions of alloys to add to the pure. I'm absolutely sweating conkers here.
Have you got it over your shirt?
I have, yeah.
No wonder you're hot.
Yes, it is possible. Depending obviously with the equipment that you've got, if you've just got this small little torch like this, you're going to have a problem. You most probably would need something like a dual fuel torch, oxygen and propane, because you're going to need the heat, I would have thought, to melt the zinc or the copper. These little torches like these are not going to be hot enough. So yes, it is possible within your home workshop, but you would most probably need oxygen and propane, or oxygen and acetylene. But the proportions of the alloys are going to be on the internet if you wanted to make it. And I must admit, white gold alloys are an absolute pain in the butt when it comes to making, and also for rolling out. You're going to, not that you're going to, but there's a chance you're going to get a lot of cracks along the piece. Me personally, I wouldn't bother trying. I would ring up and get a delivery tomorrow of my favourite alloy, the right section, the right shape, because that is going to be far easier for me. That is what I would do. But if you want to make your own alloy, please let me know how it goes. Louise, shall we have another question?
Yeah, Claire in Bristol. Hi, how are you all? I've got one last thing to make, and that's me done for the year. Oh, yay!
Lucky thing.
What a lush feeling. I've made silver granulation hoops for my mum's Christmas present. Oh, and I'm going to add gold to finish them. That's
nice.
Lovely.
Nice.
Janet, hi Janet.
Warm,
Hope wherever you're on the world, the sun
lovely,
shines
warm
on
and
you,
sunny,
even if it's raining.
Forteventura.
Lovely.
Nice.
Hope you're well and getting in the festive spirit.
We are, certainly are.
Okay, Janet's made all her Christmas presents in silver items as well. Lovely.
Nice.
Okay. Dylan has yet to try granulation. Just finished a leather, silver and turquoise dog collar for my fiance.
Nice, very nice indeed.
Lovely. Okay.
Do you have any patterns for an enhancer bail without a spring? Sorry, Louise, I just jumped ahead.
That's
then,
okay,
so.
you carry on.
An enhancer bail without a spring. Do you mean, no I don't, but do you mean the sort that just clips around or between a set of pearls? Is that what you mean? Because ideally those don't need to have springs. Let me know. I'll let Louise carry on asking the questions now because I jumped ahead. I'm sorry, Louise.
That's okay. Full is saying, I'm curious if you guys ever talk about turquoise, setting the stone and caring for it. We talk a lot about turquoise. There's always a turquoise chat.
Missed one out.
In the... Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so Maria, I'm coming back to you. Yeah, sorry, I did miss one out. Yes, in fact, Rebecca, you referred me to, I've forgotten the gentleman's name, the turquoise guy.
In Germany? Belgium.
Rebecca's, yeah, no, and I have contacted him, and at that time we were working through the whole how we're going to link him up, and I don't think he was au fait with
his Zoom.
But yeah, that's hopefully going to be a thing in the new year. But yeah, a lot of people are interested in turquoise. I know Susan knows an awful lot about turquoise and lapidary in general. So
yes,
in answer to your question, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you want to know? Maria is saying, I'd really like to know what the best way to set either a tiny round seed pearl or a diamond into a silver or gold granule on a piece of jewellery. Okay,
so the best way to do that, seed pearls are going to be really, really hard to do. In one respect, you could do it pretty much the same sort of way. So, what you want to do is, you've got your granule, okay? So you drill a hole down into it, okay? So there's your hole. Then you want to measure the diameter of your pearl or your diameter of your diamond. Then you want to get a setting burr that is that shape, okay? That is your burr like that, okay? That's your setting burr. And this diameter here is the diameter of your pearl or your diamond, okay? So that is going to be the diameter. Then what you want to do is, the teeth on these are quite fine. If you want to take out quite a bit of metal, grab yourself a ball burr that would be that sort of shape to take out a section like that, okay? Then you'd use this to come down and basically make that sort of shape within the granule, the granulation like that, and then your diamond then would sit in there like that, or that's a bit deep, but you'd have perhaps a half a seed pearl like that. If you're going to do it that way, you could just then get a graver in here to move over this little bit of metal like that to come into it that way, and that would hold that pearl in place. And likewise, that would be the same way to do it if you have your diamond in there as well. You could do it exactly that way as well. But all you need to do, in fact, what I did today, I was setting some diamonds into a like a half eternity band, and the band was a two colour. It had white on the edges. This was yellow. I drilled the holes and I made sure that it's too far apart, and I made sure that the stones were quite near. They were about a millimetre, just less than a millimetre apart, okay? They were very, very close like that. And I thought, I haven't got time to flush set everyone, so there was a little bit of a gap between each one, okay, like this. And what I did, I got a beading tool, and you know what a beading tool is like that, okay? And I put the beading tool by here, and I just went round and round and round, and I just beaded over between each stone. So as you bead over the top, it pushes the metal over onto each side, and then by here then I just did it there and by there, and I did that. So all you've got is these little raised little grains, and you could do exactly the same there as you do with a little granule. There's your granule, there's your stone or your seed pearl. Get a little bit of a beading tool and just push it into the metal, and as you push it into the metal, it'll just push that little bit of metal like that over the stone or over the pearl, and it'll hold them all in place nice and easily, and that should hold it in without too much of a complicated flush setting or star setting or anything like that, by using your little bit of a cup burr beading tool in between each stone, and it should hold those stones in place without a problem. Nice. Louise, let's have another question with you.
Okay, Kristen is asking to build a prong / bezel setting for a 3mm round cabochon. How thin can I go with the prongs for it to be structurally sound?
3mm. How thin? Ideally.
Oh, Also, I watched the video where you used 4 prongs. I want to use 3. Any tips on building the crown type structure?
Okay, when you do a seat for the stone in claws, you go through roughly, about 1/3 of the depth of the claw. If you have these claws too thin and you go through 1/3, it may make the claws too thin and it's going to bend. You can only do this by, I suppose, by experience. The problem is with 3. 3s do look good. If you have 3 claws, they've got to be thicker than normal. Okay, why? Simple. 3 claws, okay? This claw snaps off. What happens? The stone can come out, no problem. All right, that is the problem with 3 claws. It is not very safe because you lose 1 claw, the 1 tip comes off, the stone comes out easy. If you have 4 claws, obviously you lose 1 claw, you've still got 3 claws holding that stone in place. It's a lot more secure. So what I'm trying to say is that if you've got 3 claws, they've got to be thicker than normal because they cannot budge. If you've got a 3mm stone, at least 0.8 mil, I would go for 1 mil at least.
What size of beading tool would you use?
On between the stones?
Yeah.
Whatever fits through. Okay, so going back to this one, so if you have your stones like that, I would just put a beading tool there, and as long as that beading tool pushes the metal out on either side. Again, if you've got a gap here of 0.5 millimeter, the beading tool has to be bigger than 0.5 millimeter because it has to overlap the stone by a little bit. So say this was a 0.5 millimeter gap, I'd expect a 1/4 there and a 1/4 there, so perhaps a 1 millimeter beading tool. If that gap is 1 millimeter and I want to go 1/2 and 1/2, so perhaps I'd have a 2 millimeter beading tool or 1.75 millimeter if that's possible for that. Okay, in between. And there's your stones there. But this, you've got to have claws that are thicker than what you would have as if you had 4 claws or 6 claws, because the integrity of the setting relies upon 1 claw. 1 claw comes off, the stone's gone. So you've got to make sure those claws don't move. So definitely go for at least 0.8, at least 1 millimeter. Otherwise, you're going to be heading for trouble. Louise, how about another question?
Dylan, you're asking about rock hounding.
Yeah, okay.
Where are you? Are you in Florida? Because that's what Mr. Line Punch Forge does. That's what Lord Christopher does, isn't it? I think he's in Washington. My geography is absolutely embarrassing. Yeah, but I know that he runs trips, doesn't he?
He does. He will go rock hounding in the deserts with
He will take you rock hounding, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay, let's have another question.
How far did we get?
Bead setting
we did that
and granulation.
Okay. Dylan is asking for an introduction into how to handle set and buy turquoise. I've made a note of that.
Yep.
As
Rebecca's
okay, that's
friend.
Yeah, saw that in the old memory bank for you. Where did I see?
Someone saying sound has gone.
No, that was we've had to go back because my chat has gone all skew if someone to use yours.
Sorry, I shouldn't interfere.
No, it's okay. Yes, so we've done that one. Kristen's question. I just try not to miss anybody out. Okay, great.
We're in the mask with snowmen on. Nice one, Claire.
Horatius booked up. Good
29th,
stuff.
good.
Okay. David is asking, how does buying and selling of gold scrap work? Where does your markup come from? Where are you, David? Are you in the UK?
How does buying and selling scrap gold? Okay, the thing is, what the big boys do, they will buy in gold, okay? The gold that they buy in, they will give you a price for the gold, but don't forget, if you're buying 9 carat in, okay, 375 parts is gold. So they make their money on the 625 parts alloy. They will only buy in the gold of that. So what they do, they will melt it down, they'll get the alloy, they'll give you the price on the gold, but then they'll make their money on the alloy that is within the gold, okay? Now, if you are buying in through your store and you buy in at the price that it says on whatever website you're on, if the price goes down, you're going to lose money. If the price goes up, you're going to make some money, but you don't know whether the metal is going to go up or whether the metal is going to come down. So we would always offer around about 80% of the scrap price, which then would allow for any metal prices going up or metal prices coming down. We don't sell the scrap. We would buy it in and we would reuse it in whatever means, whether you melt it down to make it stock. The UK. So yeah, so that's what I would do, David. If I would not consider selling it. If you want to, you can get whatever price you can, but when we buy it in from the general public, we are offering around about 80%, aren't we? Which is roughly works out about right for us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For scrap. Yeah. Which apparently is quite generous.
Which is generous compared to what other boys do. Yes.
Yeah, but that's fair.
Well,
it's not for us to say what's fair. You know, we think that's fair. Susan's saying in Florida, is that Florida?
FLA?
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida. I don't know.
You have to register to buy scrap, but that's not the case
here in the UK.
Yeah?
No, not at all. No.
Yep. Great. So that's cool. Good. Okay. Good. Oh, for a pawnbroker, yes. Well, that's different to buying in for scrap, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah, you would need a license, certainly in the UK to do that, I would imagine.
And also, don't forget that if you're buying scrap based upon the weight in the UK, you need a government approved and government stamped scales. So the cheap little 20, 30, 40, 50 pound scales that you can buy are no good. If Trading Standards comes round, they will fine you on the spot because you're not using government approved scales. So you have to buy government approved scales, which are not cheap, for £500.
But they have to be calibrated as well.
They do have to be calibrated. They usually are calibrated when you receive them. If the Customs and Excise, if Trading Standards come round, and they did with us a few years back, checked our scales, and even though our scales were bought brand new from the company who sold them, apparently they didn't meet the Trading Standards set weights, and a sticker was put across the scales and we were not allowed to use them until we sent the scales back to the manufacturers to get them recalibrated, to come back to get your little certificate to say they've been recalibrated, to show to Trading Standards that your scales are now worthy of them being correct. So again, that's something else that you have to buy. If Trading Standards comes around and they say, how are you buying your scrap? And you go, well, put it on the scales. They go, right, that's it, I want to see your scales. But if Trading Standards comes around and they say, do you buy in gold? And they say yes, and they say, can we see your scales? You say, I don't weigh it, I just buy it on the piece.
Because technically, do you have to fill in a record of what you're buying in as well?
No.
Okay.
That, at the moment, that is not a legal requirement, no. But
for recycling, we've got into the habit of saying
recycling. But should anything happen, you don't have a record of who you bought it in or any record. So yes, I would always keep a record now of the person, the identification, what the item is, the weight of the item, any distinguishing marks. Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Anko, we missed you last week. I forgot it was Monday because it was Independence Day
in Finland.
Realised it about 30 minutes after the stream ended. When is the December one? Shelley is asking. It's probably going to be early January.
Yeah, we're not going to get a chance to do anything between sort of Christmas and New Year, are we? It's going to be a
there'll be two
bit
in
of a
January.
push. Yeah, there'll be two in January. So beginning of January and the end of January. So the first one in January is going to be December's and so forth. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Stacey is working on your own, maybe called eternity ring. Very time consuming. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you need to anneal the bezel blanks before setting?
Nope, you should not need to. No.
That's cool. Ines was asking me about my pearls I was stringing for my mum.
Oh yes.
For
How did they go?
Christmas. I hope she's not watching. She just ruined it. Yeah, just me and my big mouth. I don't think they watch it, do they?
I don't think so. I don't know. Your dad could be there going, "Ooh, did you finish them?"
No. I was saying I'm doing them little bit by little bit by little bit because I know if I don't do them little bit, and I did a fake tan yesterday, so it's not a good idea to string pearls after
a fake tan.
Yeah,
and that's why I don't even bother trying to do it, because the thread would be absolutely stinking dirty.
And I was going to eat a big packet of beef crisps Friday night when I was doing it. I was like, better not. But so yeah. So I'm doing a little bit by little bit because otherwise I know I'm going to get.
This is going. Is this Mrs. Lloyd again?
Same time again.
Same time. Happy for Mrs. Lloyd. Yes, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Mrs. Lloyd.
Thank you, Mrs. Lloyd. Thank you.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think I'll get impatient. I'll get sloppy, and then I'll start.
Yeah.
Getting sloppy. So yeah, I'm doing it little bit by bit. So yeah. Fullest thing is great to learn from you on how to run a jewellery business. Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about that all day. I love it.
You could, absolutely. You seem to be flashing on your camera at the moment, so I don't know.
Why am I flashing?
I don't know. Maybe why you're flashing. 2, 2, 3, 4. Are all the connections in? It just flash then. Let's make sure that all the connections are in. Perhaps it's this.
Have you
I've replaced the lead. It's different leads. So let's just try again.
Saying, yeah, very clean hands for pearls indeed. Yeah, very clean hands. No fakes hand, no beef crisps.
Do it straight after a bath.
Unfortunately, yeah. So maybe I'm not the best person to be stringing pearls because I don't stop eating. Okay. Where did we get to? Offer.
I love the cast rings, but want some. But is curious about it. It is expensive. The shipping, unfortunately, is expensive because everything that is going abroad now we do ship by tracked, because a lot of things have gone missing in the post. But have them tracked, they're a lot more secure, and unfortunately, the cost is a lot more expensive as well. Otherwise, it would just be not economical for us to send something out. It gets lost and then we got to send it out again. So I'm afraid that's right. Everything abroad now is always international tracked.
Cool. Okay.
Let's have another question.
Claire is saying, I'd love one of those rings with the rainbow colour stones. Wow, that would be cool.
Well, the eternities.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
were playing with them when they arrived. Is that what you were going to say?
No.
Oh.
But yeah, they stack together. Absolutely.
Have you got any there?
I got a few. You just quickly talk. Let me just go and grab a load from out here a sec.
Yeah, we found out by chance, or was it by design?
No, by chance.
By chance, that they actually stack perfectly, and they look really, really cool. And you can layer the different designs to,
yes,
to make patterns. So we spent a while doing that, didn't we?
We did.
It was like ring blank Jenga, wasn't it?
So this is something that we put together. So these are, like, for instance, the pear shapes. They're a set size. I think they're about a size P. But what we found out is that they all fit together absolutely gorgeously, darlings. So they all go together really, really nice. Okay, so then you've got your pear shapes that'll fit together that way, or you can turn them around and they'll fit together that way. You know what I mean, they all go together. But the 10, they'll all go together and you can stack them.
You just need a big long finger, unfortunately.
You do.
I don't think there's a finger big enough to, unless you can. Can we cast them smaller?
Yeah, we got the.
Then you can. I just love how each and every one of them stacks with another one somehow.
They do. These are the marquee shapes, and again, the marquees will all stack together absolutely brilliantly like that. Yeah. And the good thing about it is that if you've got the marquee shapes, you could get the pear shapes and put a pear on the top, marquee in the middle, and a pear on the bottom. And can you imagine setting that? Yeah. So at the moment they are just one size, but
They
as
need
time
de-spruing and they need a polishing and finishing inside, because I put them on Friday and I took the skin off my knuckle. But so yes, don't
try and stick them on your finger straight
they
away.
need de-spruing inside.
But yeah, so we've got them all. We've got, as I say, we've got pairs, round, squares. The squares don't necessarily stack together well because being square, but the round ones would actually go together.
What size are the rings?
Size P. I did them all to a size P. As you can see, the rounds would go together.
Could they be resized?
No.
I suppose you'd have to. They could be made larger by the dimension of one bezel.
You'd have to get a bezel to fit in with that, then, wouldn't you?
But you'd have. Well, could you just buy it?
You could buy
an
two.
Extra, yeah, and then
buy
just
two. Yeah, or even you
have an
could
extra one.
Actually, Louise, just cut them in half. Yeah, so you could cut them in half. So you have 5 on the top like that. Put half a shank on that one, and you've got then half a shank on the other, and you can put then 2 halves together on the top, so they look like that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So you could even do that.
But you can add or remove bezels at
yes.
as required, couldn't you? And
yeah. As you can see, we got bags and bags and bags of these. And if you want to get some castings done and you're in the UK, I heartily recommend Dual Cast. Absolutely fabulous. But yeah, we sent them up the STL files from our CAD software, and they produce them. And the best thing about the 3 design is that if somebody wanted that particular ring in the shop and they want the size M, all we got to do is go back into the software, put the ring size M, and it'll produce everything to the right size for us, and then we can send up the STL file to Dual Cast and they can do M's for us.
They're fab, aren't they?
But yeah, they are meant for practice, but you can do whatever you want with them.
Yeah.
Let's have another question, but they won't be on the website though until tomorrow, those ETs, but the single stones are on the website already. Let's have another question.
Okay, Lane has got a question about flow flux and barrier flux. I see a lot of people using just Prips flux. Do I also need a flow flux? If so, which one and what order to apply them? Happy holidays.
Okay, I don't really know what a flow flux is, but you should only really need one type of flux. For me, look at this. This is getting nice and worn. This is my borax. I would always recommend borax. For me, it's the easiest, but you don't need different fluxes. Just need one type of flux. Just whether you have all flux, Prips, what's the one I got in there? Brain's gone. I got one in there. But yeah, all flux, flow flux. You should only need one type. It's just to protect the metal as it heats up, so it doesn't oxidize and lets the solder flow. But no, you should just need one type of solder. Use your flow flux. Absolutely.
Okay.
What's it called? Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Lynn is saying 2 of my friends came and made Christmas. Oh my God, that's amazing. 2 of my friends came and made Christmas gifts yesterday. How lovely is that?
Cool idea.
That's a really nice idea, isn't it? One made 2 pairs of silver earrings and a pendant, and the other made a lovely pair of long silver earrings with beads on the earwax. What a lovely thing to do.
That's lovely, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I bet they
like
loved that as well. And it's just so nice to I like that idea. Okay. Okay, oh, I've missed a question, sorry. Claire is saying, I see videos of people using what looks like blue tack to arrange stones, then pouring plaster of Paris to solder. What are they using? Is it plaster of Paris? Won't that catch fire when soldering?
No, it won't. They may be using blue tack. They may be using plasticine. Plasticine is always something good to make the shape, to put the settings on top. So for instance, if you were making it into a ring, you'd perhaps have a nice tube of plasticine, then you would put the settings in place, and make sure that when you put the settings or whatever it is you want to be soldered, make sure they are touching on or in the plasticine. Okay, then yes, you can use sweets, Louise? No, okay. Then you can use plaster of Paris. You would then put a little baffle around what you've got. Perhaps you would take a little paper sleeve to go around what it is. You would then use your plaster of Paris, and everyone uses plaster of Paris for this. get some plaster of Paris, mix it up, make it into a bit of a slurry, pour it over the design with the plasticine in place. Then when the plaster of Paris has dried, you turn it over, you remove the plasticine, and what happens then is that all the settings get stuck in the plaster of Paris. It will not catch fire. You just got to make sure that there is no moisture left in it. Then you can heat it up and put the flux between the settings, and you should be able to solder. I have only done that a few times, and I found that the plaster of Paris really takes an awful lot of heat, and there may be a chance of you melting the settings, because it is really hard to regulate the heat on the actual physical little bits of settings that are within the plaster of Paris. So I have done it a few times. It has worked, but for me, I use a little pulse welder. We use the puck, or you could use an Orion welder, just to tack all of these settings together, which is what I have done with the zircon that we had. And I've done that with a little trillion side stones. I've just tacked those little side stones on.
The spinel.
Spinel, sorry, the zircon, the spinel. And then I'm going to solder that then afterwards. So yes, it's usually plasticine. Absolutely. Louise, send another question then. We have a sweetie. Thank you. Very kind. Oh, it's a squidgy. Thank you.
It's very favourite ones.
Thank you. So, should we have another question?
Yeah.
Another question.
Mike is saying, I'm having an awful time with my ring shank splitting during or after cast. I have lowered my cast temperature. I have let it sit till I have to dig investment out. I get about 4 small rings cast.
It's really, I love the purple ones, thank you. It's really, really awkward to give you some sort of idea. Sometimes it is due to the temperature that you're casting at. The flask has to be at the right temperature. With our burnout cycle, it goes up and it comes down, okay? When it comes down to the required temperature, okay, the temperature gauge says the required temperature, but what you got to remember is that the inside of the flask is still hotter than the outside. So even perhaps if it comes down to 700 degrees, for instance, we leave it at 700 degrees for at least an hour, because the inside of the flask has to get to the same temperature. So if it comes down to 700, you go, flask is 700 degrees. It isn't. The middle of the flask is still hotter. So give that chance for the 700 or whatever number of degrees it is to get through to the middle of the flask. Then you cast, and again it depends. If you take the flask out of the kiln, put it into perhaps your centrifugal caster, then you melt your metal. The flask is cooling down all the time. So what I do is that I have a centrifugal caster, and I put the gold in the crucible, I melt the silver, I will melt it until it is molten. Then if I have an assistant, Louise for instance, or perhaps Jason, they will
that thing scares me.
Then they will then, whilst I'm melting it down, they will get the flask out of the kiln, put it into place, then the metal is still molten, and then I can cast straight away. Yeah.
Sorry, Gillian's asking for the code for the stone blanks, and Claire's asking when are the Eternity's going to be on the shop. That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, the Eternity on the shop. The ring blanks are on there at the moment. I'm not quite sure whether you can search on the SKUs, but they should be, I can't remember what they were now, but they are on there. If you go onto the front page, they're on the front page. They should be there. Yeah.
I'll pop the link on now.
Okay, thanks, Louise. Latest products.
You're getting as bad as me.
Yeah, so that's why, and then it's very awkward, because then if you cast it too high a temperature or too low a temperature, that will affect it. What doesn't really affect it is quenching in the water. As long as the button on the flask has no heat, visible heat. So if the button is still red, it's too hot. As soon as that button turns metal color, and if you turn the lights out, that still is black. It doesn't show any signs of red. It's a black heat. You then should be able to immerse that in the water for the investment to go erupt, and or the silica goes everywhere. Make sure you wear some mask over that, and then you should be able to get the metal out. But that really doesn't matter too much. It's the casting temperatures that are really, really important. Have you got the links? Have you put the links?
Well,
out?
I've just put the link to the homepage, and it's on the homepage. So if you scroll about halfway down, under latest products, Because
They all
there's the
show now.
marquise and there's also the...
They all
we've
scroll
got the-
across.
where
Yeah.
are they? There's a marquise and there's a square.
It should scroll automatically.
Oh, and there's a pear and there's a round
And there's an
and
oval.
there's an oval. Okay, I didn't know we had that many. Cool.
Yeah. So we have them all there as well.
Yeah, and they can be resized, can't they? And
Yeah, you can resize them. They come in one size. There's a size P. On the description, it tells you what size stones are available. We supply you with 2 stones in case you break one. And if you don't, you've always got a spare there, haven't you?
That's nice of you, Andrew.
That's very kind. Exactly. Always like to please. And the stones will fit in. You can trim the bezels down. You can polish them. But they do come just as they come from the casting company. So you will need just to file off the sprue and polish it and finish it if you want to sell them. And you're more than welcome to sell
and
them
they're
and make money.
underweight, aren't they? It's nice to get a hallmark or but they are...
They're under the 7 grams.
They're under the 7
and
grams.
And likewise with the eternities as well, they are under the 6.78 grams, or is it 7.78 grams? 7.78 grams. They're under that, so they do not legally need a hallmarking
In the UK.
In the UK. Absolutely. Let's have another question.
I don't know what the hallmarking laws are in the States. I've no idea.
Don't know.
No, so we can't comment on that, sorry.
No, absolutely. But we have these have sold. There's a few going out to international buyers today, yes. But they went really well over the weekend. So thank you, everybody.
Cool. Yeah, I'm blinking again. I think my camera's blinking.
I think it must be the lead.
Okay.
It must be the lead. So when I finish this, I will get rid of this lead and put a new lead in place. Let's have a look. It is your number 4, aren't you?
That's okay, don't worry. I just...
Yes. Okay, no worries. Let's get you some other question then, please, Lou.
Okay. Shelley is saying, I heard you can use polyfills to set stones.
Yeah, polyfiller. Yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Good for securing stones to solder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Penny would like a flush setting workshop.
Okay. Yeah,
We
we
just-
shall put that down on our list, a flush setting, and we can do perhaps a 2-3 hour workshop on that. Absolutely.
Okay,
And you can
made a
do
note,
flush
lovely.
setting round and different shaped stones as well, certainly. Yes.
Yeah, cool. We did that, didn't we? The beading tool. How Audrey is saying, how do you set a cabochon gem into another gem? Ooh.
Yeah, we haven't covered this at all on At the Bench, but what you would need to do is use some, trying to think of the word, diamond tipped drills, okay? And what you need to do is, say you've got like a pebble, yep, you use a diamond tipped drill to drill a hole into the pebble, yep, for argument's sake, another stone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just using a pebble, bit of metal, bit of whatever, a stone, cabochon, doesn't matter.
Okay, but then they're not going to behave in all the same way, are they?
Diamond tipped, you should just, it's the same sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's start that again.
Sorry.
That's okay. I chose a pebble because I just said pebble. You want to do it in a cabochon. Cabochon. Okay, thank you,
It's
Louise.
setting a cabochon gem into another gem.
Okay, what you want to do is get diamond tipped drill. You want to drill into your gem a hole, okay? That hole has to be big enough to insert a piece of tubing, okay? So there's your tubing there, there's your tubing, there's the wall, okay? And then you would try and bezel set into that. So this tubing would be glued in, and then what you would do then, you would then have your wall shape that would be like that in on the tubing, like that there. Okay, so you've cut that off now. You've got that, you've got that. So this is your little, there we go, like that there. So this is your tubing that is inside your cabochon or round stone or whatever you've got, or a bit of pebble, like I said. And then you would set your cab within that and you burnish over. So then what you've got is your, you've got that sort of shape. There's your little stone set within a bezel within another stone.
Lou is saying what type of glue would be used for this?
Anything araldite, 5-minute araldite, 2-part epoxy resin. Yeah, not a super glue. because super glue is too brittle, but an araldite and epoxy resin to glue the tube inside the stone would be suffice. And if you're doing that way, make sure that when the tube goes in, that you mark the edge of the tube, roughen up the edge of the tube to provide a bit of a key, so when it is cemented into place, the cement has a little bit of a key in the wall of the tubing. Don't make it too smooth, otherwise the chance that would come out. I haven't done it. I've been meaning to do it. I've been meaning to do it in a pebble. That's what I said about a pebble. So remind me next
I'd like to see that.
It would be
Shall
good,
I
wouldn't
make a note?
Yeah, so next time we're down Cold Nap, find us a lovely, lovely
You're
pebble.
not supposed to take pebbles off the beach.
And we will have a look, shall we?
So, stone in stone.
Stone in stone, yes.
I would like a workshop on Entrant Blanc.
I've never done en tremblant, so
You'd like to learn,
that ain't going to happen, is it?
What about what about workshops? Project workshops.
Projects, making a particular project. Okay.
Making a, like, I don't know, between the fingering.
Okay.
I'll make a note of. I'll make a note of it.
You're going to try and get a between the fingering out of me one
You
way
could
or
make me an
another.
Entrant Blanc one.
En tremblant in between the finger ring.
Yeah.
Next question, please, Louise.
Okay. Inez watched Andrew's video on setting the massive trillion cut stone. Can I use setting wire for a 3 to 4 mil trillion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Nice and simple, that one. Super, super, super.
Okay, Lou just sent me an email with a photo. Okay, yep, no problem. We'll take a look at that. Let's see. David is saying, how does the buying and selling? Oh, we did. Yeah, we've done the gold scrap. That's great. Sandra, does anyone here have Craft Optics magnifying glasses? Have you got any?
No, I don't have any Craft Optics. No, disorders. I'm concerned I might have ordered the wrong distance, mid instead of close. They are not here yet. Ooh. Now, when we look at the Optivisors, I love an Optivisor. Just sold it on the website, actually, coming in tomorrow. Optivisors. I always go for a ×2 myself, and that for me is just everyday sort of. Oh, got a small head around here. ×2 for me is plenty for like everyday work. If I'm using anything that is going to be close, I would use a number 7 diopter, which I think is about 2.5, 2 3/4 magnification. But obviously, so what you've got to remember, the closer that you are, the higher the magnification, the closer that you have to be to the piece. And also the depth of field that is in focus at one particular point is a lot shallower. So the ×2 for me gives you about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 inches in focus. So you can move your head around without worrying, or move the piece without worrying, because you know it's always going to be in focus. If it's really close up, the depth of field is really, really close, and you can hardly move the piece at all without you having to move your head and get it back into focus. So if it's a ×2, you should be fine with that. But I don't happen to have a Craft Optics one, no. Some other question.
Gillian would love a class on cloisonné.
I'm not an expert, so we'd have to get somebody in to do that.
Oh, Shelley said, great idea, twin finger and Entrant Blanc.
You ain't going to get an en tremblant, but I can do an in between the finger. Thank you.
Okay. It wouldn't last 5 minutes for me anyway, would it? Can you imagine?
The en tremble? Good God. You'd catch that in something, yank it right off, wouldn't it?
It'd be gone, wouldn't it?
Can you imagine it? It would be on a wire, and you catch it and it'd be going like that.
We'll fly off from the room, wouldn't it? That'd be it.
It'd be so delicate, like an in between the finger with something like a little bit of butterfly that'd be like that upon a nice little coil of wire like this. That's how it would be on day one. By the time you finish with it, the butterfly would be up here, and this coil of wire would be like that.
Be a right dog's dinner, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
No offence, Louise.
None taken. Right, do you want another question?
Go on then.
Aye, all right then. Where did I get to?
Wrong camera. Yes, number 4. Yeah, number 4. You've gone.
Everything's gone blank.
Number 4. Oh, I've hit fade to black. Hang on.
Hang on, what have you done?
I've hit fade to black.
Put us back on.
There we back. I hit fade to black.
What are you doing?
Oh, I don't know.
Right. Do you want another question?
Yes.
Right. Okay. It says here my chat's disconnected.
Is it?
I don't know. Okay, oh, I'm connected again. Oh, that's fine. Right. Dragon is asking, can you have 2 different Maker's Mark in 2 different assay offices in the UK?
Can you have 2 different Maker's Mark? I don't really see the need for that. I suppose, yes.
But even if you've got 2 different brands, then
you can. Because you have to register a mark with one office. You can't necessarily register the same mark with another office because that mark may be taken or the surround may be taken. So for instance, if we have AVB, that is registered with Birmingham, but if we wanted to send something to London, we may not be able to get AVB because at the moment ours is AVB and the surround does that, okay? So that is in Birmingham, which would be the anchor on the side, okay? Not necessarily that would be available in London, for instance. So yes, you could have, for instance, you could have AB done within I don't know, and that would be in the Lion's Head in London. So yes, you can have 2 different marks, providing them in 2 different assay offices, yes.
Okay. Great. Claire.
And you can also have, sorry Louise, you can also have 2 different Maker's Marks in the same office as well, because we've done that, haven't we? We've got like a trade-marked Calon.
That's not a Maker Mark.
It's not a Maker's Mark, but it's a trade, but I'm sure we could...
Is it classed? It's not classed as a...
No, it's a trade...
It's just a...
Mark. Trade... I don't know. We'd have to find that out, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
we'd have to find out.
It's not a Maker Mark. It's just a
trademark stamp.
You can have whatever you want put on anything, can't you? Really, within reason, obviously, as long as you're not.
Yes, but I think a Maker's Mark has to comply with their Maker's Mark standards, sizes, shapes, and so forth.
Also, it's just the brand, isn't it?
Yes,
it's a brand mark.
Yeah.
So.
But I suppose we could have perhaps CJ, perhaps like Calon jewellery within something, but you couldn't stamp them both on the same piece. They'd have to be separate pieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, Claire bought the universal bench top work holder for setting stones, etc., but the screws fall out and it's frustrating. Which bench top holder would you recommend? I
don't understand a bench top holder.
Universal bench top work holder.
You can buy, whilst Louise quickly looks that up, you can buy Loctite thread glue that you can always put in the threads and tighten up, and that would lock the threads in place if your screws keep falling out. Universal bench top holder.
This is it.
Yeah.
Top holder.
Yeah, I would get some Loctite cement.
Bench clamp.
Which screw is falling out? Is it the screw that attaches the third hand sort of part? Is it this screw by here? Because that can be tightened up nice and tight. They're okay, but they're not going to be able to withstand, I don't think, too much pressure pushing on them. They're going to be moving. So perhaps I would remove that little device in between if possible. But if you want to make sure the screws don't drop out, Loctite on the threads would work fine. Absolutely. Yes.
Do you want to see some photos?
Oh, we have some photographs.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's our photographs today then?
Okay, I've got a few to show you actually.
What have you got today?
So we've worn our Christmas jumpers today.
We have.
So I have got a photo.
Matching jumpers
today. Of Carl and Laura.
Okay, can we show?
Yes, please. And you might recognise the workbench from last week.
Absolutely.
This is Carl and Laura, and they are working jointly on Christmas gifts. This is them Friday night working on the Christmas gifts in the Christmas jumpers with a glass of wine.
I love the VW one. That is absolutely fab, isn't it?
It's cool, isn't it?
I absolutely love that.
And they're making copper, silver, silver clay and brass stars.
Nice. Best thing to do on a Friday night.
I know. How adorable do they look?
Next to having a takeaway and drinking Prosecco.
Yeah. Okay, lovely.
Very good. I love that.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, and I've got Jules.
Make sure you don't make that worktop too dirty, because I love it being so white. So yes. Next one.
Yep, this is Jules, who's one of our regulars as well.
Wow, look that works. Look at the hammers on the wall.
Setup, yeah, gorgeous, isn't it?
Super, that I love
Jules
that.
in a Christmas sweater, looking amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it?
Absolutely love it. Look at that.
What a tidy workshop.
Yeah, just tidied it up for the,
Oh,
for
I
the
just
photograph.
noticed your antlers. I didn't see them the first time I looked. Oh, you look amazing. That's fab.
Really like that.
Cool.
Good, good.
Okay.
Lovely.
And also...
Do we have more?
Yeah, I've got one more. Wait.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm with you.
Let me just find it. So this is... This is
Yeah.
Elizabeth's show and tell.
Okay,
so
should we show?
it's gorgeous. Yeah.
Here we go. Nice. Look at that.
Look at that. Stunning, isn't it?
It's like that's going along the finger as well. My goodness.
Yeah, that's what I
very
love
good.
about it. So yeah, it's lapis lazuli with some granulation on the side. So yeah, Elizabeth said sanding the bezel down, sanded the bezel down bit by bit, and it doesn't spin on the finger.
It won't. No.
Which is is that because it's
It could well be.
widthways rather than long ways?
Could well be. Perhaps it's a bit more flat on the top, so it doesn't spin too much. Perhaps.
I think the granulation balances it as well, doesn't it? It kind of anchors, so there's no tipping point almost. I'm not good on
Nice,
physics,
isn't it?
but yeah, I
it
think
is nice. That I like that.
It looks really,
Lovely.
really, it's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely
Super.
gorgeous. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for sending them. Fab.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Thank you for everyone who's. And don't forget, we got one more Q&A before we stop or we have a break for Christmas. So if you've got any sort of nice Christmassy jumpers, Christmas apparel that you want to show us on next week's Q&A, please just contact Louise at andrewberry.co.uk. Send us your information, send us your Christmas jumper or Christmas apparel pictures, and we would love to show you. See what's happening here. Show you on our Q&A next Monday, which will be the last one before Christmas.
Yes, excellent.
Do you have some more questions?
Yeah.
Welcome back, Steve. Managed to get back from Amsterdam.
Steve, hi.
Very good.
I did see a question from Gillian. How much are the multiple setting practice rings you showed you, the eternity ring style settings?
Can't remember, Louise.
No, are they on the website now?
No, they're not.
Oh, these are those that are going on tomorrow.
Remember, yeah, they are.
Okay.
I think the 24. I think they're £50 because we've given you 12 stones as well. So it's not just the blanks we give you the stones as well. So you don't have to worry about sourcing other stones as well. The single stones are 20, but 10% off if you have more than one. And I'm sure 40. I'm sure they're 45 or 50. Can't remember off the top of my head, but they're going to be going on tonight / tomorrow morning. So keep an eye on the website for that. And again, I'll blast it all over socials as well.
Cool.
So a couple more questions, shall we? Claire, yeah, absolutely workshop envy. I'm sure some people tidy these workshops up before they have photographs taken, don't they?
I think you're just a bit of a slob living in your workshop. I think you've just got to make your peace with that, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, you're right there. Absolutely.
Okay. Where did we get to?
Gosh, loads of questions I'm not going to be able to get through. Let's have a look. What size is the ring? Size P. No flashing on Louise now. No, I push the controls in. I push the wires in. That's a sweater.
David wants to buy some gold to make a ring for my wife and not pay the new gold price.
Because you're tight. No, you're not tight.
That's not tight.
That's not being very tight. You're just being
Minus,
very careful.
And you want to recycle as well, which is great. We're all for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was David in the UK.
David, yes, yeah.
So it depends, David, on what you can do. Sometimes you can buy, people on eBay sell scrap gold, but you do have to pretty much pay the scrap gold price. That is
but
the
that's still
problem.
cheaper than buying new gold, isn't it?
It is a lot cheaper than buying it, yes. Yeah. So for argument's sake, say scrap is £16 a gram and you buy finished metal from Cookson, you could be spending 22 pence a gram. If you've just got 1 gram, it's not going to be worth messing about with. It's better and cheaper to buy something that price. But if you can make up some stock and so forth with like 5 or 6 grams, I'd say yes, it is worth buying some scrap, melting it down, rolling it out and making your own. Absolutely. Question, please, Louise.
Okay. Sandra is saying, I'd like to buy some gravers. I don't have any now. Any best shapes for a beginner for small details and textures?
Spit sticks, scorpers, they all have funny names. But if I just draw you the shape, terrible, Andrew. Terrible, terrible, as my father would say. Straight coming down to point, straight coming down to point. That sort of shape. And also you can buy lozenge and rounded bottom that does that. I can't remember the names. I've got no need to call these things. So those are the shapes. Pointed bottom, square one, because that's quite a narrow angle. That's an angle is a bit bigger, and that's a bit of a rounded bottom like that. So those are the three shapes. I was playing around with one today because I was just trying to do some setting. That is the overall shape. That's not quite square, is it? There we go. That's the shape-ish. Square, what are they, scorpers, spit sticks, I can't remember, but by three, those sort of shapes are the ones you possibly should need that way. You can use this one for cleaning up by the side of the bezels when you come to bezel setting. This one is great if you just want to have a round stone and you want to put your graver in by here, because that'll raise a nice little bit of a bead on either side like that. And this one is quite good if you just simply want to raise some grains without this little square bit on the outside edges. So those are the three that I would buy. They come in a long length like this. You need to cut them down to fit them. There's something on YouTube and also on At The Bench on how to shape the gravers to fit you, and also shape the ends, because when you buy them they will invariably come that sort of shape. Yep, and what you have to do is do them into that sort of shape, and there's the handle by here. Yeah, because then all you got to do is just polish up that bit of the face as opposed to the whole face, but you need to get rid of all that metal to have that. But again, we could go into this so much detail, but I'm sure there's something on YouTube on our channel or on At The Bench as well. I can hear them closing up downstairs, Louise. So let's have one more question. Should we do it?
Okay. Lena is saying, if I have a round short wire, how can I reduce the wire gauge from one end and keep the original wire gauge the same from the other end? Is there any way to achieve that without hammering the wire?
Filing it? Yeah, so do you mean that you've got a short length of wire and it's like a short length like that? Is that what you mean? And you want to make this end thinner? You could just simply file it thinner on the end like that, if you wanted to. That would be the best and easiest way to do it. If it's round wire, make sure you file, you turn, you file, you turn, you file, you turn, you file, you turn, to make it nice and even all the way around. Or if you've got some square wire like that, you can just file it so you've got the proportions like that. That makes sense. Like that, and that would go to a point like that there. There we go, like that there. But filing it, yeah, you're going to lose metal, but that's the next best thing to, or you could step roll it if you've got a rolling mill. Something like that would be the best way to do it.
Okay.
One last question, Louise. Come on, one last question. That's it for tonight.
Just made my first successful sand casting in silver while listening to you. Yay!
Excellent, well done. Congratulations.
Brilliant.
Congratulations.
Brilliant.
Don't forget, everyone, just give this film a thumbs up, which would be absolutely fantastic if you could. I would absolutely love it if you do. 137 people coming on. Thank you. And 46 likes. So come on, hit that like button, hit the thumbs up. Give us a few more likes. Yes, Lou.
Okay. Michael's asking a question about respirator. I know there has been some health and safety advice in the chat, and we do have to say any advice undertaken in the chat is done so at your own risk. Do you ever use a respirator when melting or soldering, and what chemical filter do you use?
No.
Should you though?
People will use extractor fans. They will have some sort of extractor to take away any fumes that come off the solder. Now, if you use solder, if you use normal wire or panel or pallet solder, I have never seen any fumes come from that.
Our workshop is very well ventilated though.
Yes.
It's worth saying that.
Very drafty.
Yeah.
So if you use paste solder, and you put a flame on it, you will always get something burning off it. that is when you need to make sure that you do have extraction. Don't stand directly over the top because those fumes can be inhaled. So I would never use paste solder because for me, it's no good. And the fumes that are given off, that is not something that I would bother trying to do. I would always use panel solder. I use borax here. I find I've had no problems with borax at all. It's a natural occurring substance, so you can quote me on this, but I've never noticed any fumes coming off it. You may find fumes come off commercially available flux, so you will want to make sure. Yes, Lou?
Susan is saying paste is high in cadmium.
Yes, so that's the reason why I would never use paste. Never use paste unless you're using it for very, very, very small jump rings in the smallest
Dylan
amount.
is saying solder paste fumes make me sick.
Yeah.
Not keeping good ventilation, yeah.
So I would never use solder paste, and we would never sell solder paste on our website because I don't like it and I feel it's very bad practice. If you're melting down, you've got to have good ventilation, because when you're melting down gold, especially if it's recycled gold, you're melting down people's gold and there's all the dead skin and the perfume, the smell, disgusting. I would not necessarily wear a respirator, but I always make sure that there's a good flow of air. If you are mixing up investment powder, I would definitely wear a respirator, because the investment powder contains silica. Silica can be taken into the lungs, which will cause you problems. So I would always use a respirator when you're mixing investment powder, and also when you are quenching your flask in water, there is going to be silica released as well. So I would always use a respirator over. Oh, Minnie, thank you very much. Made my first time casting. Thank you very much for that. I don't know why my little thingamajiggy's not going off, but we'll put that going off too. There we go. How's that? Thank you, Mini Maker. Really do appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. So that is the only time that when I personally would use it. But obviously, if you need to make sure, take some advice from somebody who is well researched in the ventilator, respirator, and also extraction as well. But I have seen people have these extraction units where they do some soldering, because they use paste and things that will suck the fumes out. Susan, silica is lung nasty, absolutely. So that is when I would definitely use a respirator, absolutely. But I've been doing this job now 35 years, very, very rarely use paste, and I don't feel that I've got any problems at all. I cycle, I ride, we do weights, do an awful lot of exercise, and I have no problem with my lungs or breathing.
But it's always best to err on the side of caution, always.
It is, yes. As I said, I'm not saying don't, but you need to take your own advice.
I think, yeah, definitely. But it's all very well to say I don't have problems, but you don't know when you're going to develop problems, and very often then it's too late. So
yeah, absolutely.
I would always be overcautious personally.
Take care.
And
yes.
I always am, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, we go. All right, should we call it a day?
Yes.
Anything else we need to look at very, very quick on here?
I would like to just read Janet's comment out, because it's absolutely brilliant. Fab session. Make sure you all stay safe, get your jabs done, wear your masks, no snogging into the mistletoe at Christmas do's.
Unless it's with someone who you normally snog.
Unless it's somebody from your household, yeah.
That you normally...
That you would normally, yeah.
Okay, let's just not go too far with this. COVID numbers are through the roof. Yes, wish we could have another lockdown.
Well, do you know what? I said this earlier, didn't I? I said, if we locked down, it'd be right, plan B for us. What are we going to do? How are we going to manage? How are we going to maximise our sales? But then equally, I would think, well, do you know what? I'd rather do that and see my mum and dad and your father on Christmas Day without the fear of, and we've got a lateral flow test and we can do all of that, but I think I'd prefer that, and I'd feel safer. We'd feel safer, but I would feel like we were keeping them safer if we could do that.
Yes. And for the sake of seeing my dad, my dad's now 99. He's a character. And yes, as you say, I would love to have him over Christmas, and for us to be safe, and you to be safe, Louise, and for us to be safe. And if it means having to lock down 4 or 5 days before Christmas, because we have to, I would do that.
It's a sacrifice to be happy to make.
Because it is family comes first before business.
Yeah.
But my father says, no, business comes first. No, family would have to come first before business.
That's one thing I do disagree with him on, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and business is important.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but
isn't the be all and end all, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, and perhaps some people don't want to see people. So, but anyway, let's not go into that. Joe,
keep the elderberry safe. I like it.
There you go. Thank you, Trevor, for that. I like that. Yes. So, Joe, how was you after your third jab, your booster, Joe? How's it been? Because a lot of people we've heard have had the Minerva. What's it called? Moderna? No. Moderna.
Yeah.
And they haven't been very well after it. So fingers crossed. Tomorrow night, I should be fine.
Yeah, no milk in it now because I'll be able to tell.
I got to have my haircut in the morning, so I got to be well. Like I can't be going around like this, could I? Like this, no.
Well, no.
Yes. All right. Anyway, we're gonna go.
Okay, I think we've done everything for me.
We have. There's still loads of questions. I'm sorry we haven't got to everyone. So I'm not doing that, am I? There we go. Woof, there we go. We'll not go. What does? Was that down?
Did that come off your hair?
Yeah. Lane's getting third jab right after New Year's. Had my Moderna booster and I'm fine. One day feeling kind of a bit. Yeah. Had the Pfizer. Okay. Fingers crossed we have the Pfizer. I think I had the Pfizer. Not AstraZeneca. I had. Yeah. Shelley's had the Moderna.
The Moderna.
That's polish, isn't it? Moderna. Who's had the Moderna polish? Good. I'm glad to hear that. So everyone, I've had my third shot. Absolutely fine. Sore arm, but okay. All right then. So that's quite interesting. So fingers crossed, we'll all be fine. Moderna for me. Moderna was my second. Pfizer for my first. I only reacted to the Moderna. Booster next week will be half dose of Moderna. Good. Well, everybody who's having their booster jabs over the next few weeks, hope everything goes well for you and you're not too poorly after it. Stay safe, take care. Fingers crossed. Well, yeah, we will see you next Monday, whether we're locked down or not, because
we'll be here anyway.
Because we'll still be here, won't we? Still working away. So in the meantime, what's that one? Ines, I was fine after the BioNTech Pfizer booster.
The Pfizer, yeah.
Ooh, peace to all. Thank you. So everyone, take care, stay safe. As Janet said, no snogging under the mistletoe at the Christmas party, unless it's with the person that you normally snog with. Anything else you want to say, Louise?
No, I don't think so.
Loads of people come in now. Thank you. How do you? You're more than welcome, Paul. Thank you very much indeed. Really do appreciate it. Haven't had any shots. If I don't make it to the new year level, oh dear. Okay, so thanks again. You're more than welcome, Marcia. 3 no jabs here. No, I'm stuck. Thank you all. Take care. So we will all see you next Monday, the 20th of December. Then it will have only 5 days before the big bang comes.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
Okay, let's go. Everyone take care. See you next week. Louise, anything you want to say?
I don't think so, no, on that note.
We will see you next Monday, 20th of December for the next Q&A, 4 p.m. Take care. In the meantime, keep an eye out on socials for these Eternity practice blanks. They're going on live tomorrow. Keep it on socials, everyone. Take care. Louise, say bye.
Bye-bye. See you next week.
Everyone, take care. Take care for now. Bye-bye.